Hey folks, welcome to another VR video. Today we're going to talk about the most popular Nintendo console of all time, kind of the start of this whole virtual reality trend. And of course I'm talking about the Nintendo Virtual Boy. Now this thing is amazing. I can go in and I can play one of the thousands of titles that came out for the Virtual Boy over the years. In fact, just this week I received this right here, which is a Virtual Boy flash cartridge, which the Virtual Boy over the years, finally after 20 plus years of awesome sales, is no longer on the market. They're no longer selling new titles on cartridges. So this Hyper Flash 32, which is a new device that just started shipping out, I actually got in on one of the first batches, allows you to play some of the classic titles that were available for the Virtual Boy over the past couple of decades. I mean, this thing was a chart topper. So today we're going to check out, thanks to the Hyper Flash 32, Hyper Fighting. Now, unfortunately, even though this is an awesome device, I can't broadcast my signal directly from the Virtual Boy. So we're going to actually jump into an emulator for the Virtual Boy and check out this title in full. Before we get started, this is the Virtual Boy controller. And on the Virtual Boy controller, you can see there are two D-pads, which was unique at the time. Now, of course, plenty of other Nintendo consoles have come out with dual D-pads. It became a no-brainer, right? You've got the two D-pads, an A and a B, and a start and a select. For this particular game, the dual D-pads were used almost exclusively. So I was able to play through the game on the actual Virtual Boy hardware thanks to the Hyper Flash 32. And I played as Chun Li and I finished the entire game, and I got that same thumb raised up bump that you would get playing the game on other consoles. Of course, the Virtual Boy port of Street Fighter II Hyper Fighting was the most popular. Everybody knows about it, right? So it's good to have this little bit of thumb bump. It's kind of nostalgic, I guess, right? So I'm sure you figured out the Virtual Boy was not the most popular VR platform of all time or the best-selling console that Nintendo ever sold. Hyper Fighting, the game that I'm about to show you, never existed, and was created actually as a commission for someone by an anonymous person using a tool called MK's Fighting Engine. We're going to play through as much of the game as we can here on an emulator. This is Virtual Boy Go, and I'm playing on the Oculus Quest 2 right now. I'm playing as my favorite character, Chun Li. I actually played through the entire game using Kevin Malot's Hyper Flash 32, which is the cartridge I was just showing off, which is a flash cartridge, actually. Interesting to start off with Dalsim. And I apologize that the sound is coming through from the Quest 2 and not from the PC. For some reason, this game does not stream over to the PC, so you're only picking up probably a little bit of an echoey sound of the game. Now, this game was one that, with the dual D-pads, I have to say, plays a lot better than using analog sticks on the Quest. So this is one, if you had the opportunity, I would absolutely recommend playing on real Virtual Boy hardware. In this particular case, the game is super cost prohibitive, though. Buying a copy of this in an actual cartridge right now, if I bought it on eBay or something of that nature, is around $900. I don't think the game is worth $900. If you're an avid collector or something of that nature and you really want to have what's essentially a bootleg copy of a homebrew game, that's one way that you can get it. What I would recommend is the route that I took, finding some form of a flash cartridge you can play it on. Right now, the Hyper Flash 32, which has an e-ink display so that each time you change the game on it, it actually shows you custom cover art for that game on the e-ink display. It retails for around $200. It is back ordered. I don't even think you can order it right now. The third batch is something that hasn't been committed to just yet. I happened to luck out and order in the first batch, so mine just arrived this week. And the first thing I wanted to do was check out some Japanese titles that never came to the United States, and this game, which, again, playing in an emulator just doesn't do it as the justice that it deserves. All right. So we have won against ourselves, Chun Li. Now, each of these interstitials are the same. I am the strongest woman in the world is the only thing that Chun Li will say. Of course, if he plays a different character, they're going to have different text. Come on, Ryu. Just fall. Just like that. Now, what's cool is when I finished the game on the actual hardware, it felt like I played through Street Fighter 2. It didn't feel like I was playing some random tribute game or emulated experience. It doesn't feel like it's a Game Boy port or something of that nature, which there are. There's a Game Boy emulator for Virtual Boy, which is just basically playing red-tinged Game Boy games. This is not like that at all. This is actually playing what feels like a Virtual Boy version of Street Fighter 2. Like it was something that was ported to the Virtual Boy, intended for the Virtual Boy audience. And I love that about it. And I love the fact that fans got together and created something this good long after the demise of this console. This billboard in particular in the background here is so awesome later when after the round, after you defeat the enemy character, which is E Honda in this particular level, or after I die, which could also happen in a second here since I'm stunned. Check out him like punching there. It looks so awesome in 3D. Unfortunately, you probably can't see the 3D in the emulated image, but it looks great for me. All right, close call there. We beat E Honda on one round. Now we have one more round left against him. And I do have to say, if we end up defeated by any of these enemies, I'm not going to continue. So we'll go as long as we can. I'm hoping I have as much success as I did yesterday playing on the real hardware. All right, E Honda is downed. And again, love that billboard with the punch guy. Got Zangief next. Now, something that doesn't really exist, we have Virtual Fighting Championship, which is sort of a fighting game. And there was a Sandbox VR arcade experience that was kind of a Street Fighter style game. We don't have an actual Street Fighter game yet in VR. It would be kind of cool. There was a Red Bull experience also that unfortunately never became a public thing. It was just in a specific event. But we haven't had a Street Fighter game yet in VR, and I think that would be pretty cool, actually. Even if it was in this type of format where it was really just a 3D experience, I'd also like it to be more of like a 180 or even a 360 fighter where you're moving around. So it doesn't have to be a first-person experience where you're doing the punching and fighting. It can be the classic 2D, 3D style game like this one, which has been done really well. I think Witchblood, Down the Rabbit Hole, games like that have done a great job of layering those 3D mechanics in kind of a 2D background or a diorama style game. So, you know, the possibilities are there for a Street Fighter game in actual virtual reality. Again, we've got the interactive background here, crowd cheering people on. Sorry, Guile. Had him pinned in the side there. Made it a lot easier. Who's next? Now it's Chun Li against Ken. Let's see what happens here. Ken is a tough competitor, so as you can see, Ken is a tough competitor. So there is the possibility we may fail here. Now the awesome thing is there are different difficulty levels. After you finish the game, you do have the ability to play as the boss character, so there's some really extended life to this game, just like the real Street Fighter 2 game. Stunned here. Yes, we've defeated Ken. Moving on to the next round here. Looks like we've got Blanca next. Because after that, we've unlocked the 4 bosses. Now, as a kid, I didn't play a lot of Street Fighter 2. I actually played Street Fighter 1 at a pizza parlor a ton. Oh man, we're down a round already. But one of the first games that I got with the SNES platform was Super Street Fighter 2. And that same thumb pain that I got playing with the dual D-pads, I used to experience with that version of the game as well. And we have been defeated, unfortunately. But what I am going to show as a bonus at the end of this video is actually the credits as recorded from the full game on the Virtual Boy as I played through it on the Virtual Boy. So stay tuned for that in just a moment here. I'm going to try to put my initials in. I can put my full name in, actually. Let's do just that. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is a quick look at what could have been if the Virtual Boy had been more popular. This could have been a real Capcom title, right? But seriously, I'm really happy that this game exists, and I'm really thankful to own a HyperFlash 32. I'll put a link to Kevin Malot's website so that you can check out the HyperFlash 32 for yourself. If you have a Virtual Boy console, it's something that I feel is kind of a must-buy if you can get one. Again, stock right now is kind of non-existent, but I feel like it's well worth the money to pick one up if you have a Virtual Boy, because you can play games like this. You can also play Japanese titles, which also command hundreds of dollars per title on eBay and the collectible market. And you can play translated versions of those titles as well. There's a gentleman named Thunderstruck that makes some awesome translations of those Japanese-only titles. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be back with more content. This week we're looking at what could have beens. So it's a little bit different than my usual just normal Let's Plays. But stay tuned for those, and I'll be back with normal content next week. Until next time, get out there and enjoy some VR for yourself. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.